What's up, YouTube? I'm Robert, and you're watching the B1KER Bar Podcast. Essentially, the reason that this B1KER Bar podcast started was because I would come out to the garage and do these like epic live streams on the B1KER channel. For those of you guys that aren't aware of this, so that's kind of how it began. And because of that, I just realized that, you know, people, I actually didn't really quite understand it because I personally don't like being alone. And my lady would travel a lot for work. So anytime she wasn't home and the kids weren't here, because they would be at their mom's house or something like that, I would just come out to the garage, regardless of what day of the week it was, turn on the camera, and then it would just happen, man. And that's the way things went, you know. And it was really, realistically, the main reason that I did that was just because I don't like being alone. So it was either go to the bar or something like that, or like just go out to the garage and tie one on and freaking talk to all your YouTube buddies about mountain bikes, right? So after a while of doing that, I realized that I kind of would be interviewing the people that I was talking to, and I started getting into podcasts. And at the time, I really wanted to find a mountain bike podcast that I could listen to. And I'm going to crack this beer open here. Ooh, that sounded good. This is going to be the last night of drinking before I go back to not drinking for a while because of the diet. So these are going to be some good beers I'm having with you guys. So I started looking for a podcast to listen to, and all the podcasts I listened to didn't do what I wanted to do, or didn't do what I wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear like some regular guys talking about bikes the way that me and my friends would talk about bikes, and like kind of get intrigued that way. I didn't want some like overly descriptive review kind of podcast. I didn't want a like highly technical podcast because that shit just doesn't get me excited. So I started looking around, and finally I got to the point where I was like, well, I think I can just do this on my own. And I remember I was talking to, at the time, I think it was Regular Guy Mountain Biking. And I kept telling him, because he had these like interviews that he was doing on his channel. And I kept telling him, dude, you should just do an interview show. Like, honestly, you're really good at it. Like, screw trying to do the product reviews and stuff on your channel. Just do that. And he never listened to me. So I got tired of like asking him to do it. And I kind of didn't want to do it because I really thought that like, I didn't want to like step on his feet, you know? And eventually I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it myself. And it sounds like a good idea. Plus at the time, I had gone through like the first 2 years of my channel, my B1KER channel, of just giving it everything I had. And I still had a full-time job, and I was easily putting another full-time job worth of hours into my channel for like the first 2 years. And it just got to a point where I like had neglected my relationships with my family and my kids, not, overly, but I definitely wasn't giving them the attention that they should be getting. And at the same time, my channel wasn't growing like gangbusters the way that I really wanted to see it grow compared to the amount of effort that I was putting in. So, I mean, there's plenty of reasons we can talk about why it wasn't growing, but we can get on with that later. Nonetheless, about that time, I was getting burned out. I was really getting burned out on editing. It was just getting to be so much work, and I wasn't feeling like I was getting the reward. And the reward for me would have been like just seeing that subscriber count grow fast, and it just wasn't happening. And maybe it was happening. And in hindsight, I look back on it, maybe it was happening. I just was like too anxious for it to keep happening faster. Whatever the reason was, I was burned out. And I felt like starting to do the B1KER Bar podcast, or the B1KER Bar interviews, live streams at the time, was like a way that I could keep making content on my channel, keep people interested in B1KER, and not have to edit as much, and just take a swing at it, kind of see how it went. So those of you guys that have been along for the ride from the very beginning, thank you. I really appreciate it. I mean, it means a lot to me. Anybody that's just subscribed, that means a lot to me as well. Those of you that are thinking about subscribing and haven't done it yet, go ahead and hit that button. You know where it is. Like, I know YouTubers say it all the time over and over again, but hit the subscribe button. I guess that kind of comes back to what I was saying a minute ago. Like, I really wanted to see that. So I started doing these interviews, well, actually I talked about it for a while, and this is typical for me. I talk about actually wanting to do something for a long time until I actually commit. So I talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. One night I decided, I was like, you know what? I remember distinctively, I had a pretty good buzz going on, and I wanted to do a live stream. And I was like, you know what? This is not going to be a regular live stream. This is going to be me saying that I'm starting the biker bar, right? So that was episode 1. And if you go back and listen to episode 1, it's a shit show. It sucks because whenever I go to look at a podcast that has a whole shitload of episodes like mine does at this point, I will always kind of listen to that first episode. And man, nobody ever has their shit together the first episode. They're always, just kind of winging it. And when you listen to that episode, it's definitely not it's not the same as what the show turns into later. But it's very, very close to the old Biker Bar pod or the biker live streams. So anyways, so I winged it. And then after that, once I did it, I was committed to doing it. I told people I was going to do it, so I needed to. And I need that kind of pressure to motivate me to do something. If you like that, make sure you check out the full episode. And hey, do me a favor, before you take off, hit the like and subscribe.